Nothing but big piles of gold.
Hey, Glad.
Way over to the Contessa's house.
I looked back at my reset times from episode 2 PB, and holy moly, dude. I had a low 38, mid 38, and then a low, even high 37. I'm baffled, dude. I'm happy if I get like sub 40, but that was like insane. Those resets. So like I wonder how much if we were to like
The Contessa is out making
if we were to actually set up like a loadless leaderboard, how would we compare, you know, different runners?
my position on top of this parabolic dish. I should be able to hear
And you never know with Rashan, because I hit him in the fence, so he basically took 2 points of damage, but I wasn't sure if he would die or not. But that's part of the split for that split, honestly.
she's locked up Sly and Murray.
So that was episode 1, 2, and 3. I've specifically practiced episode 2 very recently, 3 kinda recently, and then 1 it's pretty straightforward. Many of the jobs in episode 1 is like a tutorial job, but I think I do need to practice episode 1 at some points, but it's not a priority at all. Episode 4. Episode 4 I have not de-rusted or practiced, and it's one of the harder ones in the entire game as well. So this episode might be a little bit rough, but I have been performing pretty well in episode 4 in full game recently. I've been busting out several like PBs in episode runs, in full game even, without the use of code capture, cutscene skip, or most of the new stuff. I do try the stupid disguise, close to Contessa thingy, without like practicing it. But at this point I think I know how it works and know how to do it, so by trial and error I think I understand it enough to do it in an actual run now. Episode 5 is actually not that hard. It's just kinda... It's easy to mess up. Stealing voices is easy to mess up. Ghost capture is a very big like hit or miss split. The operation can be optimized to oblivion. Crypt hack can be a little bit stupid, but for the most part, it's not that hard. I think you do need to practice some of the jobs a little bit, like stealing voices requires some practice. Tank down, what's it called? Tank something showdown requires a little bit of practice. Crypt hack requires some practice. Operation requires some practice. Ghost capture requires some practice. So there's lots of stuff in episode 5 that requires practice, but once you've done some base level practice, episode 5 should be nice. Shouldn't be that hard, honestly. I would say the hardest episode in this game is 8 and then 4. And then after that you have like the middle tier, which is episode 5 and episode 7. They're not necessarily hard, but they require a little bit of practice, kinda. And then there's the easy ones, which is episode 1, 2, 3, and 6. In my book. But I think episode 6... don't die here, please. Okay. Episode 6 has some new stuff. Hold on. Some new stuff here. Never done this before. But this like breaks even with normal movements, I believe. I'll go the wrong way here. God damn it. Yeah, episode 6 is just easy. It's not much to say about episode 6. Many of the jobs are just really short, really easy. Yeah, nothing more about it really. The operation can be a little bit of a grind fest. Bear cub kidnapping can be annoying. Cabin crimes can actually be improved or can be optimized to a pretty good extent. As long as you don't start implementing bass skip in your cabin crimes, you shouldn't have that many issues. But it's one of those jobs that you can easily grind and get a really good split in. My goal is 723, I believe, or 620, 723. 423? 423. Dude, what the fuck is this split? I don't remember how long the split is anymore. But it's something 23, and I'm sure if you can save 10 seconds on that if you do bass skip, I'm pretty sure. First try 3 times, because I messed up this hack. I should practice this hack, because I just did the old strats out of habit.
Yes, the train's at full speed. Now, on to reverse the field's polarity.
It's that kind of sloppy. But what can I expect when I haven't grinded episode 4 or practiced it? I'll take 2 seconds saved. I also turned up the game by a whole 2%, by the way. It used to be at 7%, but now it's 9%. Holy moly, what a difference. Effectively 1.2 decibels. And the main reason for that is because I turned it down for slide 3. Because slide 3 is mixed a little bit louder normally, and it's also in a fucking Dutch. So, it makes sense to have slide 2 be louder than slide 3. And this is the settings I used for slide 2 back in the day. So this is what I'll try for now. Listen back on it. Do I like it? Do I not like it? We'll see. Oh, yo, quality name. How you doing, man? I didn't see you there. Your name color kinda doesn't stand out, you know, being that color and all.
I've already established a safe house and downloaded its GPS coordinates into your binocucom. We'll rendezvous there.
Wow, you've really thought of everything.
Don't I always?
Yeah, you do. Thanks for busting me out.
Well, you know the old saying, if you can't count on a friend to bust you out of jail,
Hey,
what
yo.
kind of a friend are they?
Truer words were never said.
I'm sorry for like the stream issues, this stream, but well, whatever. Right, it's a test stream, that's what they do. I use some new settings, I learned some new stuff and what not to do, etc. For next time I'll change some encoding. I think I can keep the encoding settings, I just have to split the encoding up to GPU and CPU. Which I was considering to do, but I was like, I want to test this first, you know? Um, and then I'm trying to stream for this from this PC, which it doesn't really work that well, unfortunately. Oh, there was some new routes here. Shit, I forgot. Doesn't save too much though, but it's like a second or two. It requires a GSM, so I think maybe it's just better to not like, go for it now. Hey, foul play? This is PS3.
Looks an awful lot like a water tower.
Specifically, this is the digital version for PS3. Not the disc, the trilogy disc. This is like the standalone version because it's much faster, runs much faster and stuff.
Do owe you one.
The lightning rods around the prison are designed to draw lightning strikes away from the water tower. Giant attack robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this run isn't too bad so far. This run is pretty good.
Direct the electrical current away from its ground wire, rendering it useless. Follow the lightning strikes to locate all 5 rods.
Okay, so you want me to break the ground circuit on all these lightning rods so that a bolt will strike and destroy the giant attack robot posing as a water tower.
That's an accurate
Yeah, it's also PAL, but for PS3 I think the NTSC version is actually PAL also. It's just, they took some shortcuts.
Nice work. That lightning rod is out of commission. Look around for lightning strikes to find the other rods.
I mean, I have 20 seconds on episode 6 Operation. But I think, don't I have something on Ghost Capture as well? To GSM this. I might have something on Ghost Capture, I don't know. Yeah, next big is probably in episode 7, yeah. So I have full HP. I guess we're not doing any damage abuse or strats. Oh fuck. .535. Oops. A perfect one is like a 510, 515 maybe, with the new routes. I don't know actually, I don't actually know. 535 is actually pretty good, at least with the old routes. But Ghost Capture, you should never expect to save time on Ghost Capture, you know? I actually expected to break even there, so I saved a second and a half more than I expected. It says I can save a minute here, but more than half of that is like fake. I can save like maybe 20 seconds here if I play perfectly, and I already got shot once, so it's not really gonna happen, is it? I'm pretty sure the guard despawns here, the flashlight guard, and in the same process I should also like lose the attention from the guards. I guess we'll do holo strats here. I think I'll do normal strats for the second guard and third guard.
All the security stations out here?
And fourth guard. It's kind of weird with this
Now, see,
this like sets, because He might be in a super awkward spot. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, he heard me as well. Actually, just kill me. From here, just kill me. I think it's easier to just kill me here.
Now use that key to set off the security station. Okay, now climb to a good spot where you'll be able to get a picture of the security code on the monitor.
Yeah, the guard can hear you if you get shot by the spotlight. It's not really commonly, like, it doesn't really happen that much. Also, I don't like this, because this guard might spot me now, so I'm just gonna run up to him. He lost me pretty early, so might have to jump here. Nah. This GSM here shouldn't be a problem. Oh, he's super far away. I'm actually just gonna run. But I ended up hitting the switch or whatever before the guards end up coming. Oh, yeah, I had 2 guards RNG, which means that I saved some time. I haven't practiced left side, so I obviously won't go for it. You can actually square boost from there, but it's like... Actually, fuck, you're supposed to go left side. Never mind, you're not. I'm stupid. I was thinking opposite. Actually, you can do this, right? Yeah. But we'll use the old spot.
Okay, that should be enough codes. Nice work, partner.
I still saved time, what the hell? I actually saved a lot of time as well. 13 seconds. That must have been a really good code capture then. Holy shit.
Giant pipes under the bridge feed
If I saved
security.
13 seconds.
I'll need to cut the connection to free Murray.
Hold on, let me compare to gold for a second. So 45, 44 and a half. Cutscene skip is 30
Place the bombs.
ish.
Love to help out, but
So I only lost 15, and I messed up in the beginning. The death itself doesn't matter too much, because I just reset the cycles and stuff.
And take their
But
I pose like a statue.
yeah, I guess I got good RNG and everything there. So otherwise, that was a really good split. So
Genius.
thank you, game, for once. People still play this game casually. That surprises me a little bit, actually. Like, you can say I play this casually, but every time I do play this quote-unquote casually, I end up practicing something. Whether it's general movement or a random split, that doesn't really matter. I always end up practicing something.
This bomb's all set. I'm moving to the next stress point.
Yeah, you can do that, but it's I don't go for it in runs because It's like really quick, really easy to mess up. Where did the last one go? No. Oh, come on. Just grab the health.
Another one in place. Heading back across the bridge.
And you can't really see when the picture appears, so going as early as possible on the picture is like not as easy. Maybe there's a sound cue I'm not thinking of, but I don't really use sound too much for this game. At least I haven't thus far, but
Third bomb's in position. I'm en route to set the fort.
bus leaving in 10 minutes. Can you take down on people or not really? But detection sometimes like glitches out and stuff.
Ready. Cover me.
So not really. For 10 coins, that's actually kind of short
Side of the bridge.
here. It's not like it's not super short, but it's like below average for sure. Ah, for 11.
Get out of here. That takes care of the power to the security system.
How does that work? How does what work, Jet? There's a bunch of stuff we do in that job. I'm not 100% sure exactly which one you mean.
2 tank keys and the tank patrol schedule off of the contestant.
No problem. I'm an old hand at pickpocketing.
This is going to be tougher than you think.
It's pretty straightforward how this job works, how that job works.
Never goes anywhere without bodyguards.
Trying to look all speedrunny with the movement. The movement in this game is actually really easy to just learn and pick up. Especially glitch high jump. It's not even that hard. It's just press and hold square and mash X, and that's the most basic form of glitch high jump you can do. Sen might be finished. I don't know, I feel like Sen just started. He's been going pretty hard. When you go pretty hard, motivation becomes an issue. So I never go too hard. I always sort of half-ass it, you could say. But there's a reason why I do that, and that is to preserve, not momentum, but oh fuck. To preserve motivation. Right. Yeah, the movement is pretty easy, but it's also pretty cool at the same time. Once I finally nailed this movement, even though that was kind of sloppy still.
Nothing but big piles of gold.
Okay, Sly. In order to get Murray out, we'll need him to get thrown into solitary confinement. That pipe will
Yeah, I feel like Sen, he's gone. You know when you're running like a lap, right? Or like not like a lap, but like a marathon. You normally start not slow per se, but you start not in top speed, right? If you think of that top speed as like how much investment or how much dedication goes into a game, it's normal to start, you know, pretty strong. But I see lots of people go like balls hard for like 6 months, and then they just sort of like, oh,
So glad to see
I'm exhausted. And what happens then is that they take a few months off, maybe even like half a year off, or maybe they just stop outright. So if you want to do speedrunning,
Bentley seems to have found a weakness.
take your time, honestly. It sounds really weird. If you want to do speedrunning, take your time. Again, that's counterproductive, right? But it sounds like it, but no. You preserve your motivation, and there's no rush, you know? Whether you get sub 520 slide 2, which I guess would be like an ultimate goal. It doesn't really matter if you get it now or if you get it, you know, 2018, 2019. I don't know. There's no rush. I feel like people rush too much in life, but then again, I'm a really laid-back person, so I don't know. I spent like half a year learning this game before I even did any attempts. Took my time. We should go. I think your goal was too easy, or not easy, but it was like too. It lacked ambition a little bit, if you know what I mean. Like I don't know. It felt like a cop-out. What I normally do when I do like episode runs and stuff is that I set an initial goal, and then I set goals after I reach, or when I have more experience in it. So like, for example, in episode 2 that I just finished doing, 2 runs, my initial goal was sub 33, right? And then I might want to push for sub 3250 after that, but I actually just ended up getting a 32, what was it, 32, 34 right off the bat. And I kind of like set goals as I go along. I guess the best example for that is episode 3, where I just kept pushing. So I don't know. I like to set more goals as I go along. I don't think Ricky is that, like, what I guess you can call is like trigger happy, maybe, in terms of like just suddenly pour all your dedication into a game. I don't think Ricky is that invested, you know. I think Ricky understands that in order to reach a point, you need to preserve your motivation, and therefore going balls hard over like 1 week can burn you out on a game on its own. So I think he knows that. I think Ricky's just like, he likes to jump between games a little bit. Have one project, spend a few months on it, jump to the next, maybe half a year, maybe a year. I don't know. I like to stick with one project for a long time. Yeah, that's the fundamental difference with me and you, Alec. I do want to do Slide 2 forever. You know, I don't have an end goal in sight. Because Slide 2 is the game I like to run, so like, why would I not run it? Every time I run something else, I feel like, oh, I should be running Slide 2 right now. Like when I did Pokemon Colosseum, like it was a dead time in Slide 2, but then suddenly Jake found a 10-second time saver in episode 1. And that alone, that one small skip, it was enough to like motivate me to like sort of like come back a little bit. So I actually didn't reach my goal for Pokemon Colosseum. So I kind of want to go back and actually reach that goal. And since there was a new glitch found as well, I want to go for sub 4, which is an obvious threshold. But it's not like I would spend all my time doing Pokemon Colosseum, you know. It's not the game I want to be running. But Slide 2 is, you know.
right behind you.
I feel like Sly 2 is a really nice speed game, even though lots of people would disagree with me on this because it's cutscenes, it's so long, triggers, you know. I don't think it's a bad speed game. I think it's actually a pretty good speed game. That might be because I don't really have, you know, an experience with
Well, that should be
a
the
1 hour
control
categories.
center. But to be honest, I'm
But
not sure how you're going to get up.
I feel like with shorter speed games, it's easier to burn out as well. Hey Rezo, hope you're doing well, man.
We cut the power on the bridge, but a few lights seem to have a backup generator. Be careful.
Hop in at work early. Remo found a pretty cool jump here. You can apparently jump from this spotlight to another one, which was really cool. I have to look into it more, of course. I'm not gonna do it blindly because it didn't look as free as, I would imagine with my knowledge of the game that there's like a 50-50 of whether it's as free as it looks or if it's not. And if I do it blindly and I miss it, I lose like 30 seconds. I'm not gonna bother. You know, when I'm doing episode 4, I will of course look into it and I will probably implement it, but you know, I wanna do it first.
I've never seen Murray like
It's
this.
a low or high risk, low reward kind of trick.
All twitchy
At least when I don't know if it's easy or not. Happy Monday.
Murray was being forced to eat
Yeah, happy
spice,
Monday
right?
to you too, I guess.
He said he was feeling weird.
He's weirded out, all right. I doubt he even knows we're here. Clearly, we're going to have to lure him out of that cell.
Dude,
the
I went to
hard
bed
way.
at 5 a.m. last night,
Those hip
and I couldn't
robots
even
are
sleep.
designed to hike
Or I went to bed
and
like
take
4:40, and I couldn't even sleep. So I fell asleep like 5:10,
Turn them all on at the same
5:15
time.
maybe, and then I
Very
woke
sure
up
to become
at
wildly hostile and probably break down the door.
7:55 for my stream, and I was like,
Power switches are all
but I know that I enjoy
defensive
streaming, right? So it's not like but it's never fun to get out of bed, you know. So I was really
give you access.
grumpy, I guess, but I don't know. That mood quickly sort of like fixed itself, even though I did feel kind of bad when I woke up today. Fuck's sake, dude. I felt a little bit
Okay, I'm hacking the laser
sick.
barrier.
Because I literally the last thing I did before I went to bed yesterday was eat lots of chocolate, and I don't think that really, you know, helped. But I didn't feel too good when I woke up today. But I don't know. My mood was kind of good at the same time because I went upstairs, had a lovely chat with my mom about adventskalender and how I didn't win anything today as either. What's the odds? Guess I have this like lottery thingy.
Angry. Get gone.
So I don't know. I was just in a good mood, I suppose. But then it kind of got ruined by, you know, the stream having some technical issues. But then again, I did what I could for the stream as I, you know, went along. I turned down the bitrate from 3000 to 2200 for the local recording. I won't really go any lower than that. So I just closed Task Manager and just pretend like I don't notice that there's an issue with CPU usage and such. I don't like this. should work. That's like a late one though. Yeah, like it's like tradition here pretty much in the family. I don't buy them myself. I kind of like get them gifted, and I'm like, oh, cool. And this year I even have 2 because my grandfather came and almost like, hey, take this. And I'm like, yay.
There you go.
I assume Hola doesn't have sound, Per. Yeah, quality. Sly 1. I ran Sly 1 very briefly. Even and while I didn't even run on the fastest console, I do have some like, so I guess experience with it, and oh my god, and it does fuel many of like the bad emotions in speedrunning, I feel. So I actually think Sly 1 is a bad speed game. Surprise, surprise. Because it's not as
Deep breaths and try to center your thoughts.
Okay.
What's with all the racket?
I don't know where I was going with the sentence, but it's like it fuels all these like negative things, and I know if anyone has ever ran Sly 1, they know what I mean. You get really annoyed when you run a Sly 1 and you mess up something. And that's just how the game sort of functions, you know? Just like, oh, you land on the fence, but oh, never mind, you slide off and you die. You get hook jump, but oh, never mind, you messed up the slope jump afterwards and you fall down. Or, oh, you did the trick perfectly, but oh, you fall through the vine and you die. It's like, you know? There's just so much stupid stuff in Sly 1, and I didn't even get that deep into the Sly 1 sort of bubble, I guess. All I really wanted with Sly 1 was I wanted to get a decent time so that I could get a, you know, a decent showing of Sly 1 in a Slyfecta run. So I don't lose like half an hour in Sly 1, which I actually ended up doing anyway. But I don't know. Yo, hey ho. How you doing, my man?
Why not be psychologically productive and channel
Hey ho. I always want to say hey ho, but it's like, it's kind of cheesy to say hey ho. As in like hey hey ho, but you know. Also, apparently, if you run too far here, like the trigger doesn't extend too far, because Sly Murray has to stand in the trigger, the end trigger, as Contessa's entering it. But apparently the trigger isn't as big as I thought, as shown by Remo's PB, where he actually almost lost the record because he went a little bit too far here. I've never actually like not. I always stop here myself, but
She's getting away.
I wonder what time that was. That felt like a pretty good episode 4.
With the 3 of us back
I'll
together,
just check it
stand a
soon.
chance.
In before PB again.